Hello everyone, my name is Cryospace, and today I'm going to be tackling the subject color debate. I think that's what I'm going to call it. So, I actually talked about this on stream and I tweeted something out about it like way before it was a cool thing to talk about. So, I think I have a little bit of qualifications just to talk about it. But I'm actually not going to be talking about my opinions. I want to dive into kind of the psychology of why we associate subjects in school with colors, and I think I have the actual answer to that. Now, this all stems from a phenomenon in real life, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but it's called synesthesia. And the Google definition for it is synesthesia is when you hear music but you see shapes, or you hear a word or a name and instantly see a color. Synesthesia is a fancy name for when you experience one of your senses through another. For example, you might hear the name Alex and see green. So, when you hear the word math, maybe you see red, maybe you see blue, maybe you see green. That's synesthesia. We're talking about synesthesia. And I really hope I'm not saying it wrong, because if I'm saying it wrong this whole video, I'm going to be so embarrassed. So, my kind of thought process was, why do we associate science with the color green? You know, it's kind of this game of we're associating one thing with something completely different. And the best example I have of synesthesia is a tweet that I saw a while ago of someone saying that 8 p.m., October, and Thursday are all the same thing. And they're not. They're not the same thing at all. But we associate 8 p.m., October, and Thursday all as the same thing because of synesthesia. We're kind of associating one thing with a completely different thing. And this is the best example of that, because obviously they're not the same thing. We know they're not the same thing, but in our heads we understand that we comprehend them as the same thing. That's kind of how I want to explain it. So, why do we associate science with green or math with red? Why do we do that? And I think I'm going to use another example, the month October. What color do you think of when you hear the word October? Now, I don't know, there's varying answers, but I'm betting that most of you probably saw the color orange. I'm assuming you saw the color orange. Why? Let's go down the rabbit hole real quick. October is closely associated with Halloween, of course. That's the only thing that happens in October. October, Halloween. Halloween is usually associated with pumpkins. What color are pumpkins? Orange. Therefore, October is orange. We circle back. It's this little cycle of us associating different things with one another until we get to the color. So, October is orange because pumpkins are orange, and so therefore October's orange. Fantastic. What color's December? Maybe you see two colors, red and green, because of, the stigma of Christmas being red and green. Why is it red and green? The green of a Christmas tree and the red ribbon you put around it. Maybe you see a pale blue because that's the color that ice is. Who knows? Either way, we associate a color with something because of something else it's associated to in the color that thing is. So, let's circle all the way back to what subjects are what color. Why do we associate math with blue or something? And it's because of these fucking folders. You know which ones we're talking about. In fact, I'm putting them on screen right now. It's because of these folders. This is why we associate science with green. Whatever folder you had in elementary school for that subject, that is the color you associated with. If you had your folder for science being green, you associate science with green. If your folder for math was red, you associate math with red. If your folder for history was blue, you associate history with blue. If you associate English with yellow, your folder was yellow. That's just how it is. It's these folders. And I'm almost positive that 99% of you had these folders in elementary school, and this is the reason why you think science is green. It's because the science folder was green. That is why. That is the reason why. There is no correct answer to this question because it all boils down to what folder you had, and everyone had a different folder. Everyone had a different set of folders. Maybe English to you is purple because your folder was purple. But I think the interesting thing for me now is figuring out what was it that made you associate a subject. What made you associate a subject with a color? Maybe it was the folder. Most of the time, it's probably going to be your folder. Other times, maybe it's because the walls in your English classes was purple. Maybe it's because your science teacher always wore green. Who knows? I'm interested in that. And this is why this becomes a really interesting debate, because it's all trying to figure out, why do you think this? There's a reason why you think this. It's because of maybe the folders, maybe the walls in your classes was a color, maybe your teacher always wore a color, maybe your teacher wrote in a certain color marker all the time. Who knows? There's a reason why, and I'm really interested to know. So what are your reasons as to why you think colors are certain? What are your reasons as to why you think a subject is a color? I'm really interested in that. But I want to give you a few more examples, and I want to connect the dots a little bit more. We're going to go through the months. January. I usually associate the color of January with that pale blue that I was talking about earlier. The reason why is because that's the color that ice was. February is pink because February is love. Pink is love. I don't know. February is pink. Why? Because pink is usually associated with love. Why is pink usually associated with love? Because the heart isn't pink, but it's always drawn as pink. March is usually associated with green because that's the color that leprechauns wear. April is purple. Why is April purple? I don't know. For me, it's because April and purple make the same sound. That's why. May is also green to me. Why is May green? Because May is usually in my head when spring starts, even though it's not at all when spring starts. But it's like May is like prime time for spring. June is usually like an orange color, maybe a little more yellowish, because this is when summer starts, and summer, the sun is yellow. July. Do we even need to talk about this one? Do we even need to go in about this one? Come on, we all know the answer to this one. August is orange because this is usually when summer turns into fall. Not this year, though. Summer's going to be the whole year. This year. It's going to be summer for the rest of the year. It's going to be wonderful. September is also a blue color, a little darker blue than January, because September is usually when it gets colder, right? September is usually when it gets colder, but again, not this year. October, we've already been through this one. It's orange because pumpkins are orange. November is yellow. Why is November yellow? I've been trying to figure this out for so long. I can't figure it out. Why is November yellow? Someone help me. Help me. Why is November yellow? I don't understand. Someone help me. This is the one I can't figure out. I've been trying to figure it out for so long. I can't figure out why November is yellow. And December, obviously for me, December is kind of like red and green. December is red and green, or again, that pale blue. One of the two. You can either pick. You can pick one or the other. So, yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of this video. Synesthesia. Synesthesia is when you associate one thing with a completely different thing, or a more fancy way of putting it, when you experience one sense through another. It's really, really interesting, and I love the topic. And now, I guess I've kind of given a little bit of insight as to why we think these things, as to why we think like this, why do we associate one thing with another. And the way I think we do it is because we're trying to comprehend something easier, so we comprehend one thing as another. So we comprehend a subject as a color. We comprehend a month as a color. We comprehend maybe like a time of day with a day. Like a time of day with a day of the week. So like 8 p.m. with Thursday. Because we're trying to comprehend things easier, so we go to something we understand more. We don't understand a subject, but we understand colors. We understand colors, so we comprehend a subject as a color. That's kind of how I see it. Hopefully you found this interesting. I know this isn't usually the jokey videos I make. I just thought this was a really interesting topic, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Yeah. I'll see you later.